but you need to make it happen. What I want to talk to you about is some key success factors. But before you go and you start and you open your doors, there's a few other things you need to make sure you do. One is completely study your market. How many of you already put together a market study of where you're going to do your business? Anybody? Okay. That was one of the things I did, and I don't know if you remember that, Mike, but I started showing that to you in the class and stuff, and you asked if I want to keep track of what happens. It'd be interesting to see where you are a year from now, so here's your opportunity. It is very important. How many of you own your own business? Okay. So if you own your own business, you have to know what your market is. Who are you going to go, who's your competition? Are people buying, not buying? If they're buying something, what are they buying? How many of you are electricians? Okay. So there was a whole wave of people for a while there. The big thing was audiovisual. The big thing was internet, cable, and Cat5. Now everybody's going wireless. So things go in waves, and knowing that and preparing yourself for that is knowing your market. But you need to go much further because this is a very competitive market. Some of you may be in a market, hopefully, that you don't have a lot of competition there yet. But as people learn more about it, you'll get more competition coming in. California is probably one of the most competitive marketplaces in the United States. And the Bay Area, my competitors, I have 60 competitors just in my area, just in a 5.5-mile radius of where I'm at, basically in the area. So any customer I get, I could have one of 60 different competitors out there bidding on that project. So it's important to know who they are. Now, one of the nice things in California is you can get that information off the CSI. There's a CSI database, and it gives you. So any of you who are in California, go in there, pull it out, Excel spreadsheet. You can slice and dice it. You can take it by zip code. You can take it by county, and you can look at how much each installer did last week, last month, last year. You can graph it as well. And that's one of the things you need to do. Once you have that, now you can start to put together a sales forecast and put together a budget. Because you're going to need between $100,000 to $150,000 to kind of get into this business. Now, if you're already a contractor, you're going to have some of that equipment already at hand, so it's not going to be as. But those of you who aren't contractors and just getting into this, you're moving from one field to another field, plan on having at least $150,000 to get yourself started. Okay. That sounds like a lot. It is a lot of money, but it's something you need to have available to you. And the reason is you're going to spend a lot, especially the first year. Okay. And finally, is have a business model. Understand how you're going to get things done. Believe me, when you go into it right now, those of you that are contractors, electricians, you can go to a bid site. You can put on the back sheet of a piece of paper, somebody a quote, come in, take care of it. You know this stuff. You're handling a lot of it. You've got crews that handle it. When you first start out in this business, it's a lot more than that. We spend an inordinate amount of hours filing for rebates. And believe me, the best way to turn off your customer is give your customer that responsibility. We have to collect at least, I think, a half a dozen signatures over the process from start to finish when we go do a solar install. I'll bet you many of you, when you're doing a electrical service panel upgrade for a customer or improving a kitchen or bathroom, probably get a couple signatures, and those are usually on checks and maybe the first contract you wrote when you got started. There is a lot of activity. The other thing is everything is permitted. And I know from the contracting business as well, they have a partner who's very much into it, and there's a lot of non-permitting. Hey, you're going to replace the toilet? I'm going to replace the toilet. I'm going to replace the hot water heater? I went berserk when I had to help my dad and we had to replace the hot water heater. We had to go get a permit. Ask permission to replace the hot water heater that just went out, and until you get one, you're going to be freezing. So in this business, absolutely you're going to be regulated and permitted. And once you start doing permits, guess what you get? A business license for every location you get that permit into. So be prepared for a lot of paperwork too. And knowing that just helps you in being successful in this. Now, so you've got your business plan together. You know your market. You know how you're going to approach that market. You figured out all the different activities that you're going to have to do from start to finish when you land a contract. There are 5 things that you need to continue to do all through the year. And I'll go through each one of these. One is a good supply chain. The other is make sure you have a reliable sales and quote tool. And I believe, I'm not sure if you have this in here at all. Jamie, do you still have somebody come in and demonstrate a quote tool?
You do that in class, right?
Clean Power? Does Clean Power come in and present their quote tool or anything like that?
Sometimes.
Okay. So Clean Power Finance is one company, and there's a couple others, and there's also a couple individuals who provide quote tools for you to use to be able to prepare quotes for your customers. That's going to be key. That's going to be very important for you when you're trying to put this together and put a proposal, especially any of you who have competitors in your marketplace, because there is a lot of very professional-looking quotes that are out there. And when you talk about somebody spending $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 on a solar energy system, it's going to have an impact on the kind of analysis that is shown in that report, what kind of energy I'm going to produce, how much am I paying, what's in there, all that. Those tools help you prepare for that, not just the EPDB that's used to pay the rebate, which is also part of some input to that tool, but that'll help you. The other is having an effective marketing plan. And I'll go into that a little bit more. Standardize your operation. So it's going much further and deeper into what I talked about earlier about understanding how you're going to operate. And then continuous training. This class is just the beginning of what you're going to learn in the industry. I bet you anything. Mike, you're still learning stuff that comes along and new products that are introduced. We've got microinverters in the last couple of years that have come out. Now they have new things. Tygo, for example, is one of the manufacturers of a new item that's out there, and it's trying to optimize every panel, even when you're on a string inverter. One of the issues or challenges we have with a string inverter is being able to know exactly what panel is creating a problem, and being able to do it remotely. And you can't do it really remotely unless you have instruments like that or tools like that in the field, or a microinverter, which was a big plus when the microinverter came out. So training is going to be something, and it's not just on the products, but also on the processes, the new kinds of racking, the way you mount things on there. That has progressed tremendously. So I talked about the first one was supply chain. It's very important for you when you leave, as you're in this class, when you leave this class, to figure out where you're going to source your material. We've been real lucky this last year. There was a lot of material on the market. So it's pretty easy to pick up the phone and grab a distributor and be able to start to get material. But the thing is, they're not going to give you the best pricing unless you've got enough volume. So that's one of the challenges you're going to have when you're in a very competitive market. You're going to have people that have very good pricing compared to you when you first get started.